Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Exposition of the Holy Quran. By Allama G.A Parwez. Surah 18. Al-Kahf verse 1 to 53.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu 'iwaja qayyiman liyunzira ba'san shadidan min ladunhu wa yubashshira al-mu'minina alladhina ya'maluna as-salihati anna lahum ajran hasana ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا.
1 to 4. All hamd is due to that Allah who has revealed this book to his devotee, in which there is nothing irregular and which does not need any support to establish the divine order. It gives warning of a grievous chastisement to the non-believers and announces to the believers who do right things, glad tidings that blessings from Allah await them, i.e., a home wherein they shall abide beyond the count of time. It also admonishes those who say that Allah has begotten a son.
ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا.
5. Neither they nor their forefathers have any knowledge of this. They do not know. Had a dreadful thing comes out of their mouth, and this is nothing but a falsehood what they speak.
فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا.
6. O Rasul, would you vex yourself to death with grief in going after them?
إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا.
7 to 8. Those who believe that Allah has a son, also believe in monasticism. 57. 27. But do not realize what great harm they thereby do to mankind. This can be understood by an example. The earth has the potentiality to grow, which is most valuable both from the point of view of utility and aesthetics. But this is possible only if people put their labor in it. 18. 30 to 31, 46, 67. 2. If they do not do so, the earth becomes fallow. Similarly, the potentialities in man actualize through his actions, while renunciation of the world leads to their repression. How this happens is illustrated in the story of the people of the cave.
أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا.
9. Do you think that the story of the men of the cave and the scripture was really something wondrous and strange? This was not so.
إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا.
10. What happened was that a few youth, seeking escape from the persecution of a tyrannical order, took shelter in a cave and prayed to Allah for means of sustenance and means for accomplishing their program. 18. 19.
فضربنا على آذانهم في الكهف سنين عددا.
11. They lived in the cave for many years, completely cut off from the outside world, and remained busy in the preparation for the accomplishment of their program.
ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا.
12. Thereafter, we brought them into view in order to test the preparations made by both their opponents and the remaining members of their own party who were left outside.
نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه إلها لقد قلنا إذا شططا.
13-14. O Rasul, many stories were circulating about them. We will relate to you what actually happened. There were a few youth who had believed in the truth of the divine order and had gone far ahead in their plan. Eventually, when they stood up, we strengthened their hearts and they announced, we will establish the Nizami Rabobiyyat on the lines on which it was working in the outer universe. We do not believe in any authority save that of Allah. If we do that, we will be nowhere.
هؤلاء قومنا اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا.
15. These people of ours have accepted the authority of others besides Allah, without being able to bring a clear evidence in support of their belief. And who could be more wicked than one who foists a lie on Allah?
وَإِذِ اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ يَنشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا.
16. After making this announcement, they felt that it was not safe for them to live there anymore. So after mutual consultation, they decided to separate from their people and the authorities in vogue. They took shelter in the cave with the firm hope that Allah will bestow on them His rahmat and regulate their affairs in a manner agreeable to them.
وترى الشمس إذا طلعت تزاور عن كهفهم ذات اليمين وإذا غربت تقرضهم ذات الشمال وهم في فجوة منه ذلك من آيات الله من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا.
17. The cave in which they had taken shelter was situated like this. The sun on its rise declined away to the right of the cave and at its setting kept to the left, thus preventing the rays of the sun from penetrating the cave. And they lay in its spacious chamber. This was one of the signs of Allah, to which He had guided them. In fact, only he can find the right way who receives guidance from Allah, and one who does not, he goes astray, and then he can never find a friend who would point out to him the right way.
وتحسبهم أيقاظا وهم رقود ونقلبهم ذات اليمين وذات الشمال وكلبهم باسط ذراعيه بالوصيد لو اطلعت عليهم لوليت منهم فرارا ولملئت منهم رعبا.
18. They were so alert regarding their safety that they slept in a way that if anyone looked in from the outside would deem them awake whereas they were asleep. They also kept changing their position in the cave, and their dog laid at the entrance with paws outstretched. In short, they had made such arrangements that if anyone had come upon them suddenly, he would have turned back in flight filled with fear.
وكذلك بعثناهم ليتساءلوا بينهم قال قائل منهم كم كم لبثتم قالوا لبثنا يوما أو بعض يوم قالوا ربكم أعلم بما لبثتم فابعثوا أحدكم بورقكم هذه إلى المدينة فلينظر أيها أزكى طعاما فليأتكم برزق منه وليتلطف ولا يشعرن بكم أحدا إنهم إن يظهروا عليكم يرجموكم أو يعيدوكم في ملتهم ولن تفلحوا إذن أبدا.
19 to 20. They remained in this situation for a considerable time and were so absorbed in their program that they did not realize how much time had elapsed. They thought it was necessary to find out what was happening in the outside world. They decided to send one of them to the city with a coin to see the condition prevailing therein on the pretext of buying some purest food. But told him to be very cautious lest anyone suspect who he was and where he came from. Because if these facts became known, the people of the city would have either stoned them or compelled them to revert to their people's religion. In that case all their efforts would have gone waste.
وكذلك أعثرنا عليهم ليعلموا أن وعد الله حق وأن الساعة لا ريب فيها إذ يتنازعون بينهم أمرهم فقالوا ابنوا عليهم بنيانا ربهم أعلم بهم قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا.
21. The people of their party somehow or the other, came to know about them. They had during this period gained sufficient strength and were now happy to find that their leaders were alive and that the time had now come when the promise made by Allah would come true. This is the story of the revolutionary youth. After their death people forgot all about their mission but made them into a legend. They began disputing amongst themselves as to what was to be done to them. Some suggested that they should raise a monument over their place of refuge, but others whose views prevailed built a place of worship. Monastery. Over there.
سيقولون ثلاثة رابعهم كلبهم ويقولون خمسة سادسهم كلبهم رجما بالغيب ويقولون سبعة وثامنهم كلبهم قل ربي أعلم بعدتهم ما يعلمهم إلا قليل فلا تمار فيهم إلا مراء ظاهرا ولا تستفت فيهم منهم أحدا.
22. Coming to the present time, instead of remembering what a huge revolution they had brought, people indulge in a futile discussion regarding how many they were. Some say they were 3 and their dog was the 4th, others say they were 5 and their dog was the 6th, and still others guess about what they actually did not know. If they want to drag you also into such a discussion, treat this matter only casually and tell them, O Rasul, that it is no use discussing a matter about which only Allah knows. As to what their number was, the point to be discussed about is, what was their mission and what revolution did they bring about?
ولا تقولن لشيء إني فاعل ذلك غدا إلا أن يشاء الله واذكر ربك إذا نسيت وقل عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا.
23-24. Man does not have knowledge of the unknown, so much so that he cannot say for certain what he will do the next day. 31. 34. What he should do, if he intends to do something, is to get together the means for fulfilling his objective. If he forgets about any link in the chain, he should look towards the guidance provided by Allah and make good the missing link. He should, therefore, only say, "This is what I intend to do." It will be accomplished only if I proceed in accordance with Allah's guidance.
ولبثوا في كهفهم 300 سنين وازدادوا 9 قل الله أعلم بما لبثوا له غيب السماوات والأرض أبصر به وأسمع ما لهم من دونه من ولي ولا يشرك في حكمه أحدا.
25-26. Reverting to the discussion about the inmates of the cave. Some say that they tarried there for 300 years, and others, contradicting them, say that it was not 300 years exact but 309 years. Tell them, O Rasul, I do not want to waste any time in such discussions. Allah alone knows this, and also the secrets of the unknown in the universe. How well He sees and hears. Mankind has no protector besides Him, nor does He share His sovereignty with anyone. 17. 111, 18. 110.
واتل ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك لا مبدل لكلماته ولن تجد من دونه ملتحدا.
27. Present to them whatever is revealed to you, O Rasul, none shall change Allah's words. If anyone goes against His laws, he shall have no refuge.
واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا.
28. O Rasul, your mission will be completed only with the help of your companions. They are the ones who keep themselves busy morning and evening in the accomplishment of Allah's plan, so you stand fast by them. Let not your eyes be turned away from them in order to gain the adornments of this life. And do not yield to the bidding of one, neglectful of Allah's laws and who follows his own lusts and whose ways are unbridled. 6. 52, 8. 62-69, 89. 29-30.
وقل الحق من ربكم فمن شاء فليؤمن ومن شاء فليكفر إنا أعتدنا للظالمين نارا أحاط بهم سرادقها وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل يشوي الوجوه بئس الشراب وساءت مرتفقا.
29. O Rasul, proclaim to the entire mankind the truth has come from your Rabb. Whosoever chooses may accept it and whosoever chooses may reject it, knowing, however, that Allah has kept ready for the Zalimeen the fire of Jahannam which will engulf them. The gold and silver which had emboldened them to oppose the divine order will be melted and poured down their throats to quench their thirst, for which they will cry forth. How wretched the drink and what an unhappy place to lie in. 9. 34-35.
إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات إنا لا نضيع أجر من أحسن عملا أولئك لهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتهم الأنهار يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ويلبسون ثيابا خضرا من سندس واستبرق متكئين فيها على الأرائك نعم الثواب وحسنت مرتفقا.
30-31. As against them, those who believe in Allah's laws and act accordingly, none of their good actions will go waste. For them are evergreen gardens under which streams flow. They shall have all what constitutes the symbols of high authority and affluence, such as golden bracelets, green robes of silk, thin and thick. They shall recline on couches. How excellent the reward and how pleasant the resting place.
واضرب لهم مثل الرجلين جعلنا لأحدهما جنتين من أعناب وحففناهما بنخل وجعلنا بينهما زرعا كلتا الجنتين آتت أكلها ولم تظلم منه شيئا وفجرنا خلالهما نهرا.
32-33. The two different aspects of life mentioned above may be illustrated by means of a parable. There were two men. For one of them were provided 2 gardens of grapevines hedged around with date palms, and in between the 2 gardens were cornfields. Both the gardens yielded the best of the fruits and did not fail in any way, and in between them a stream was flowing.
وكان له ثمر فقال لصاحبه وهو يحاوره أنا أكثر منك مالا وأعز نفرا.
34. The one who had plenty of fruit said to his friend during the course of a conversation, I am wealthier than you and have a large following.
ودخل جنته وهو ظالم لنفسه قال ما أظن أن تبيد هذه أبدا وما أظن الساعة قائمة ولئن رددت إلى ربي لأجدن خيرا منها منقلبا.
35-36. His friend used to say to him not to be proud and unmindful of the laws of Allah, but he would not take this seriously. Offended by what his friend said, he entered his garden and said to himself, I do not think that this garden will ever perish, nor that the day of reckoning about which my friend speaks so often will ever come. And even if this happens, I have so managed that over there I shall have a better abode than this.
قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا لكن هو الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا.
37-38. When his friend came to know about such ideas of his, he said, do you deny that law of mukafat of that Allah who initiated your creation by clay, then by a life germ and finally gave you full form of man? Do you, notwithstanding all this, still think that what you have is the result of your merit and efforts. 28. 78. And has nothing to do with Allah's laws? You may deny these facts, but I have firm belief that whatever I got is through Allah, law of Rabbubiyat, to whom I do not set up any peers. 56. 63 to 73.
ولولا إذ دخلت جنتك قلت ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله إن ترني أنا أقل منك مالا وولدا.
39. When you see your gardens, you should say that you got all that through Allah's Nizami Rabbubiyat. All power lies with Allah. No doubt at present I have less of wealth and fewer children than you have.
فعسى ربي أن يؤتيني خيرا من جنتك ويرسل عليها حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا.
40. It will be no wonder if Allah gives me a better garden than yours, and some calamity might visit your garden, turning it into a barren piece of land.
أو يصبح ماؤها غورا فلن تستطيع له طلبا.
41. And the waters of your spring may sink so deep into the earth that you may not be able to reach it.
وأحيط بثمره فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها وهي خاوية على عروشها ويقول يا ليتني لم أشرك بربي أحدا.
42. And it so happened that all his fruit was destroyed. Wringing his hands he said, all that I had spent on my gardens has been rendered waste, and all what I had built has been levelled. At that stage he realized that he should not have set up peers to Allah.
ولم تكن له فئة ينصرونه من دون الله وما كان منتصرا.
43. None from amongst his followers could help him against Allah, nor could he help himself.
هنالك الولاية لله الحق هو خير ثوابا وخير عقبا.
44. This similitude has been narrated to show that all power belongs to Allah. Whatever is done in accordance with his laws produces good results.
واضرب لهم مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء إن أنزلناه من السماء فاختلط به نبات الأرض فأصبح هشيما تذروه الرياح وكان الله على كل شيء مقتدرا.
45. The result of the course of life in which only physical laws are adhered to and higher values are neglected, may be explained by means of another similitude. Allah sends down rain from the sky, causing luxuriant herbage to grow. If no further care is taken of this growth, it may soon wither and be scattered. This will all happen in accordance with Allah's laws.
المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا.
46. Efforts should no doubt be made to acquire wealth and children, which are the adornments of physical life. 7. 32. This, however, only constitutes a temporary phase of life, but when these efforts are subjected to higher values, the results are abiding and far better, and high hopes may be attached to them. 1976.
ويوم نسير الجبال وترى الأرض بارزة وحشرناهم فلم نغادر منهم أحدا وعرضوا على ربك صفا لقد جئتمونا كما خلقناكم أول مرة بل زعمتم أن لن نجعل لكم موعدا.
47-48. When such things are said to these people, they do not take them seriously and regard them as mere verbal talk, and do not think that the day of reckoning will ever come. This will actually happen even in this world, when the divine order is established and people who consider themselves powerful and well established will be brought down. 20. 105. Whereas those who are downtrodden at present will rise. Class distinctions will be eliminated. The entire humanity will be molded into one universal brotherhood, as was the case in the early history of mankind. 2. 213. 10. 19.
ووضع الكتاب فترى المجرمين مشفقين مما فيه ويقولون يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا ولا يظلم ربك أحدا.
49. They all shall be governed by the divine code of law, which shall make the criminals fearful. They will cry out, "What kind of code of law is this which leaves out nothing small or great, and according to which all individual actions are recompensed? No zulm will be done to anyone."
وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِنْ دُونِي وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ بَدَلًا.
50. The early history of mankind referred to above is the period mentioned in the story of Adam. 2. 30-34. The upshot of that story is that all the physical forces of nature were subjected to man, but his own baser desires, which are imperceptible, Iblis, rose against him. It was told to Adam that if he and his children were friends to Iblis, they would be deprived of paradisal life, which will be substituted by a wretched life.
ما أشهدتهم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم وما كنت متخذ المضلين عضدا.
51. As a result of befriending Iblis, man sets up peers to Allah. The falsehood of such a belief is evident from the fact that they came into existence after the universe had been created by Allah and were thus themselves creation, and obviously creation cannot be equal to the Creator. Also, Allah was not so weak as to need such helpers who mislead people.
ويوم يقول نادوا شركائي الذين زعمتم فدعوهم فلم يستجيبوا لهم وجعلنا بينهم موبقا ورأى المجرمون النار فظنوا أنهم مواقعوها ولم يجدوا عنها مصرفا.
52-53. On the day of reckoning, Allah will say to those who had set up peers to him to call upon those whom they had pronounced to be Allah's partners for help. They will call upon them, but they will not answer them. A curtain will hang between them, thereby cutting off all their relations, and the wicked doers will see the fire and fear that they may be cast into it and that they will not find any way of escape from it.